We got Stephanie White at the podium, Kelsey Mitchell at the podium. They're pretty much throwing Caitlin Clark under the bus, especially Stephanie White. I mean, they basically feel like they don't need her. They don't need her. At this point, they just need to move on and break this relationship up. Send Caitlin Clark off so you guys can do your thing in Indiana. And that's just that, man. But it's disgusting. The plan whatever plan was put in place for Caitlin Clark to be playing 2 minutes at a time and then riding a bike, just ridiculous, man. We got to get into what Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell had to say.
It is no longer a whisper in the dark corners of the Indiana Fever's front office. It's no longer a theory constructed by sports pundits. For the first time, the disdain for Caitlin Clark has been spoken into a live microphone. Music Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell have now made it unequivocally clear. They have no intention of building the franchise around the most significant rookie talent in WNBA history. This is a total system failure, a collapse of trust between a generational point guard and the very organization that drafted her. The optics are disastrous. The message is a betrayal. And the future of the Fever is now hanging by a thread of pure animosity. For a franchise that has spent years searching for a savior, their treatment of Caitlin Clark is a masterclass in self-sabotage. Music. The coaching staff, led by Stephanie White, appears to be actively undermining their own superstar. The strategy against the Los Angeles Sparks was a debacle from the opening tip, but the post-game press conference is where the true bombshell detonated. Mitchell, the veteran guard, sat behind that microphone and essentially painted a picture of a fractured locker room where the team's flow is constantly disjointed. A direct indictment of the very system Caitlin Clark is supposed to be running. It's a psychological war against Clark's confidence, and the coach is the one leading the charge. This isn't just a rough patch. This is the deliberate dismantling of a potential dynasty to protect the ego of a coach who cannot handle a player more talented than herself.
Coach, now let's get into Kelsey Mitchell acting like she don't even care. Like she don't need Caitlin. Like it's crazy, man.
It's about showing up. It's my job. I'm gonna do my job every day. I think that this game can't be taken for granted. You gotta respect it. You gotta pour in whatever you got into it, and give that every time. I don't think there's an excuse that you can give to do this job, and I think that I do my damnedest to make sure that I show up. If I can lace them up and I can do what I need to do.
Reached a fever pitch when the narrative shifted to Kelsey Mitchell's own bizarre comments. While Stephanie White played the role of the disgruntled coach, Mitchell stepped into the spotlight with a thinly veiled attack on Caitlin Clark's professionalism. When pressed on her ability to show up and play, Mitchell declared, "Music, I do my damnedest to make sure that I show up." The implication couldn't be clearer. She's suggesting that while she fights through every physical limitation and exhaustion, Caitlin Clark isn't giving the same effort. The hypocrisy is staggering. Caitlin Clark has been the engine of this team. She's carried the scoring load, shattered rookie records, and dealt with a target on her back that is bigger than any other player in the league. And now she's being scapegoated for defensive breakdowns that have nothing to do with her. Mitchell's comments in the video aren't merely passive-aggressive. They are a direct assault on Clark's character. By suggesting that Clark isn't lacing them up and giving her all, Mitchell is trying to discredit her in the eyes of the fan base and the front office. This is a seismic fracture in team music chemistry. How is Clark supposed to lead a team when her own backcourt partner is publicly questioning her work ethic? The saga deepens around the mistreatment of Caitlin Clark, not just in the media, but on the court. The video sources highlight the shocking handling of Clark's minutes restriction. In a game against the Sparks, a team devoid of its stars, Stephanie White chose to run Clark in 90-second bursts, forcing her to ride a bike on the sideline. The coach cited Clark's reintegration and lack of endurance after injury. But the audio source vehemently rejects this gaslighting.
There's no cohesion. There's no identity. That's why it's such an issue integrating. Why do we need to integrate? It's supposed to be built around her. Like, it just doesn't make sense what this coach is doing, what this organization is doing. It's piss poor. It's a joke. It's a clown show, man. And I'm sure it's hard for somebody to get reintegrated when they're playing 90 seconds and coming out. The most
systemic flaw. The source reveals the stark reality. The team's offensive identity is bifurcated. They play one way when Caitlin's on the floor, the narrator explains. They play one way when she's off the floor. There's no cohesion. This is a damning indictment of Stephanie White's coaching acumen. A great coach is defined by their ability to integrate their best player. If you have a player as elite as Caitlin Clark, a 6-foot sharpshooter with court vision that breaks defenses, you build the system around her. You do not create a separate system that functions only when she's benched. To isolate Caitlin Clark in this manner is to completely misunderstand the modern game. When Clark sits, the Fever revert to an archaic ISO-heavy offense. The strategy is destined for failure, creating a clown show that destroys any chance of rhythm for the team. The constant integration and disintegration of Clark's role shatters her confidence, making her look ineffective while protecting the coach's fragile ego. Clark isn't the problem. She's the solution being rejected. The front office needs to understand that if they force Clark to conform to a style that negates her ability, they're losing a generational player for a coach who is stuck in the past. The true extent of the damage became evident when the focus shifted to the defensive strategy. The Fever allowed 106 points to a depleted Sparks squad, with 60 of those points coming in the paint. When asked about this catastrophic failure, Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell immediately deflected the blame away from the defense and back onto the offense, the system run by Caitlin Clark. Mitchell's comment, "Anything that you want to do on the offensive end, you can't do when you don't defend the ball," is a red herring. She is deliberately confusing the issue, avoiding any accountability for the defensive failures that are the team's actual downfall.
It is reintegrating Caitlin Clark for whatever reason. It's a joke, man. This thing needs to end. I just want Caitlin Clark to get the hell away from them. I just want Caitlin Clark to get the hell away.
The climax of this saga is approaching rapidly. We are witnessing the final act of a drama where the protagonists, Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell, are actively trying to oust Caitlin Clark. The comments from the source's narrator are blunt. "Just say y'all don't want Caitlin no more." That is the crux of the issue. This isn't about basketball strategy. This is about personalities, egos, and a refusal to accept that a 21-year-old has surpassed them in talent and influence. Music. The video's final plea, "I just want Caitlin Clark to get the hell away from them," resonates as the most logical solution for Clark's career, even if it spells doom for Indiana. This saga is a cautionary tale about the dangers of ego in professional sports. The failure of the Fever to treat Caitlin Clark as the foundational pillar of the franchise will be studied for years as one of the biggest mismanagements in sports history. The internal resentment has bubbled to the surface, and there is no putting it back in the bottle. The trust is broken. The vision is gone. The Fever are now a ship with a captain who refuses to use her best map.